Welcome to the Hedgehog Watchdog. I'm Devin Saxon, joined by Greg Baldwin. We're the meme team behind Libertarian Party of South Dakota and South Dakotans Against Prohibition. Today's episode is brought to you by Pinkcoin. You can check them out at pinkcoin.com. Today's guest is Joshua Smith. He ran for chair in 2020. He's also the current at-large member of the LNC. How you doing today, Josh?
Oh, I'm doing just fine, Devin. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Hell yeah. You there, Greg? You got some mic technicalities going on, or?
Yeah, sorry. I had the Facebook feed pulled up, so I had to double. Had me confused for a second.
Which one?
Yeah.
So, speaking of Facebook, what happened to your Facebook accounts, Mr. Smith?
Man.
I haven't seen you on Facebook for a couple of months, I would say, at least.
Yeah, 2 weeks before the election, funny enough, Facebook decided to remove my account permanently.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've appealed probably 30 times. And the funny thing about this is, I've been on Facebook for 11 years. Mm-hmm. 11 years I was on Facebook. And out of the blue, with no warning, they removed my account after 11 years. I mean, I had the last pictures of me and my grandfather together before he passed away a couple years ago. I had last messages between me and several of my friends who have passed away. I have pictures of my son and my daughter and all this stuff on my Facebook. It's all gone. They won't give it back to me. They didn't give me an opportunity to download my profile like other people who got it. It was all gone. And I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like I didn't do anything that broke their terms of service. All I can imagine is I was stumping for Joe Jorgensen, right? And it happened 2 weeks before the election. I was gone without warning, and there was I'm not the only one. There was a lot of libertarians that got removed from Facebook without violating any terms of service. No, but a lot of these people were able to get their accounts back. They just won't give it back. They're just done with me. So, and I go way harder on Twitter. and
what's your Twitter handle?
It's at Joshua at large. So.
So those listening, if you want to get Joshua Smith on social media, you gotta get him on Twitter because Facebook are a bunch of Nazis apparently.
Yeah, definitely. Mark Zuckerberg is an absolute fascist. So, but whatever, it is what it is, and I'm not super upset about it. And the cool thing is, my girlfriend, anybody can start pages. So for the new show that I'm doing, Break the Cycle, my girlfriend can just start the page. And then we can just stream to the page, and then it's like, hey, Facebook, guess what? I'm still here, but then what are they going to do about it? So. But,
I've never actually been banned from Facebook, but I got a notification about a month or so ago telling me that I had been banned from live streaming. But but like you're saying though, we have this page, and so I'm able to live stream to the page.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That actually happened to me. That actually happened to me about a month or maybe like a month before my Facebook profile was removed. I was doing stuff with the Mises Caucus. Obviously, I'm a Mises Caucus guy for the party, and I was gonna run candidate interviews live stream through StreamYard to the Mises Caucus page and Facebook group, and all of a sudden it wouldn't let me live stream from the computer, and I'm going, what the hell's going on? And they were like, your live streaming privileges have been revoked, and I'm like, for what?
Wow.
And again, I tried to appeal, and they never gave me any kind of understanding of why that happened, and then a month later they just removed me entirely. And the funny thing is I even made another Facebook profile like almost right away within a couple days, and it was up for maybe 5 hours, and they pulled that down because of my IP address. So it was like they
they know. Yeah, I remember I got banned for like 2 months straight, and like in between the months they let me on for like 10 minutes, and I got like insta banned again.
Yeah,
and they didn't have any explanation or anything. It's like, well, at least tell me what I did wrong. You're just leaving me in this cloud of uncertainty right now. Like,
right. Yeah, and it's like that was kind of how it was for me too. They said I think they removed my profile like sometime was it October, and they said that if I didn't get my account back in a certain amount of time, that on this date it would be deleted forever. And I'm appealing, I'm sending messages, I'm asking people why, I'm telling, I'm kind of making this emotional case. Like, look, there's pictures of my grandfather on here who passed away, like my dad, and I need all this stuff back. And then all of a sudden it was just deleted permanently. And they never even responded to my emails, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
They'll probably just blame COVID.
Yeah, I'm sure. Everything's COVID's fault.
Yeah, I don't. I try not to buy into conspiracy theories too much, but there was definitely something going on during this election where they
right before the election, a lot of libertarians got banned, and they try to be like, "Oh, we have a new algorithm," and they just accidentally got caught up in the new algorithm. It's not on purpose.
But some of it was pretty obvious too. Like they literally were like messaging people and trying to pay them to go offline for like 2 months or 30 days before the election. Like people were showing emails or whatever that they had gotten.
Yeah, it was like they wanted to see how that would affect the election, and yeah, it was. Who knows? Facebook's just crazy, man. You know, they're weird, and they just really want their own little liberal echo chamber. So let them have it.
Ron Paul got banned too, didn't he? Or did he come back?
His page got taken down briefly. I don't even think it lasted a whole day. So, but it was pretty brief.
Yeah, that was pretty alarming when it was like, what the hell did Ron Paul do?
Yeah, Papa Paul. I think he spoke out against the COVID propaganda, and they didn't like that on Facebook.
Yeah,
you know, probably truth be told, I did too, and that's probably why I got taken down. You know,
you have to support 2 masks. Yeah, if you don't support 2 masks now, you're gonna get banned.
Well, they even try to put disclaimers on anything COVID related now. It's are you sure you want to share this article? It's like, well, why not?
Yeah, of course I want to share this article. That's why I'm here sharing this article. You know what I mean? Leave me alone, man.
Yeah.
So you organized an affiliate participation contest 2019. Are there any plans to bring that back?
You know, I would love to do that. Unfortunately, our new chair, Joe Bishop Hinchman, saw fit to remove me as chair of the affiliate support committee and replace me with Valerie Sarwark. So
that sucks.
Yeah, it was one of the most successful affiliate support committees the party had ever had. And so, you know, it was done without warning as well. No one really talked to me about it. I did mention right after, the national convention to Joe Bishop Hinchman that I would enjoy to continue staying the chair of the affiliate support committee. I think we had a really good affiliate support committee. I think we're doing good things for the affiliates. We were working on building the affiliate in the box link so that, affiliates could just click on a link and find all the resources they need to build platforms and bylaws and all that stuff. And we were working on, trying to take over the lpaction.org website so that we could do videos and stuff to help with campaigns and candidates and affiliate building. And, and then the contest was really successful. And,
Yeah, I will say Greg and I are on the South Dakota's executive committee, and we have not heard from Valerie Sarwark on anything, but we did hear from you right away on this affiliate participation.
Yeah. It is what it is. I'm not going to be too mad about it. As most people know, I'm running for chairman again this election cycle, and should I win, you know that I'm going to take initiative and do the things that need to be done for this party because I've done it when I was on the affiliate support committee. I've done them as an at-large. I did it when I was a region rep for my state party. I put in the work. I don't just talk about it, and so hopefully, we get to Reno in 2022 and things.
Hell yeah.
Well, that was going to be one of our questions today. We were going to ask you if you were going to possibly run for chair again. So you did answer that. So then the follow-up question to that would be one of the other people that we know running for chair. I mean, I don't know her personally, heard some good things about her, but what do you think about Angela McArdle?
Angela McArdle's a great friend of mine. I love Angela McArdle with all my heart. Ideologically, you're not going to see a big difference between myself and Angela. We're definitely on the same page when it comes to most of that stuff. But as far as the organization runs, I think I have more knowledge of how the national party, how to get things done at the national level, just because this will be my second term on the board. Should I win again, it'll be my third term. And I've had to deal with some pretty bad boards. I mean, just to be completely honest, there's been some pretty bad boards. Both boards have had some people who just aren't happy with the direction that we would like to see the party go. And so,
is it too cold? It's too cold. Is it too cold? We killed the stream or what?
What, you guys, the stream's dead?
No, we're good. You must have just froze up, Greg.
Greg, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah.
Close out of those tabs, Greg. What's going on?
Yeah.
You got 500 tabs open. No, I love Angela to death, and should Angela win chair, I'm more than willing to work with Angela in any areas that she wants me to work with her in. And should I win chair, and I would love to see Angela on the board. If it's me as vice chair and her chair, or me as chair and her as vice chair, I mean, I'd be pretty stoked with that too. So I love Angela. Like, I really do. I think she's great. I think she's a great voice for liberty, and I think she does really good things in California, on the board there, and in Los Angeles County, which she's the chair of. She's done some really good things. So she, either one of us is going to be a good choice, especially if you're one of the people who want to see the party take a more Mises inspired turn. So
here's a question from a new libertarian. What is Mises Caucus about?
Austrian economics. I mean, bringing that decentralized Austrian economics kind of platitude to the party, right? I mean, the party's kind of strayed, as far as most of us can tell, the party's kind of strayed into this blue-pilled libertarian territory, right? There's a lot of people that are upset with the messaging of the party. It's been really soft. I mean, we just had the last year, we've had tyranny handed to us on a silver platter. I mean, between the lockdowns, the business shutterings, now a lot of these vaccination issues with, you can't go back to school unless you're vaccinated, or some jobs are forcing it. And I mean, it's just been like one thing after another. The stimulus packages that are, mainly going to foreign governments. And we had this opportunity to really speak out, and we just didn't. We were very soft on the messaging. And I think the Mises Caucus would have taken that in a different direction. And so the Mises Caucus wants to see a party that's more unapologetically libertarian. And I think, they've shown that if that's the path we take, that will be a much bigger party with a lot more people. I mean, that's, they're the number one recruiters in the party. There's no denying that. The giant influx of libertarians that have joined the party over the last, 4 years have mainly been Mises people, or people coming from Dave Smith's podcast, or Tom Wood's podcast, or Pete Quinones' podcast, or Buck Johnson's podcast. And they do a lot of good things. And so, I don't know why some people in this party would like to see the party kind of stay small and inefficient, but the caucus is kind of like giving the middle finger to the people who try to gatekeep and said, hey, we're going to grow this thing with or without you. So, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the Mises Caucus. I've been endorsed by them twice. I've worked with them very closely with the candidates that they've endorsed, and I'm a dues paying member, and I'm going to be a part of that, and hopefully we see a party that is successful over the next couple of years.
Justin, this is an old question I wrote a couple of weeks ago when I found out you're coming on, but Justin Amash recently tweeted that he's against gatekeepers of the Libertarian Party. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, Amash is not like an ANCAP or anything, right? And so that's cool. And I don't believe that he wants to gatekeep per se. I understand that. I understand what he's saying. But at the same time, he is kind of supported by a wing of the party that is pretty hardcore gatekeepers, So I don't know. I don't think we should gatekeep the party per se. I don't think we should fill the party with hardcore leftists and communists. You know what I mean? But,
yeah.
But I also don't think we should gatekeep. I think everyone from minarchists to constitutionalists to ANCAP should be in this party, working real hard to roll back the size and scope of the government. So,
hell yeah. You have a question, Greg, or do you want me to keep going down my list?
So I mean, did we really introduce him at all? So he's the at-large member of the LNC, and he's been the at-large now twice, right?
Yeah, my second term is an at-large on the LNC now.
And he's ran for chair of the National Party twice. And I guess one of my questions was, because how long have you been a libertarian? Because I think I've heard it before.
Consider myself a libertarian since 2008. I mean, that's not party member libertarian, but libertarian in ideology since at least 2008. I served in the United States Navy during Operation Iraqi Freedom. I was on the USS Constellation. We were the biggest part of the shock and awe campaign, dropping millions of tons of ordnance on Baghdad, and it was eye-opening and jading. I mean, it really jaded me on the military-industrial complex, and that was in like 2002, 2003. And when I got out of the military, the Republicans didn't really serve my interests anymore. I mean, I didn't really see a home in their party. But I did find Ron Paul in 2008, and I worked on Ron Paul's presidential campaign out of California. And, it really, I mean, that was my segue into reading Murray Rothbard and F.A. Hayek and Milton Friedman, watching Milton Friedman videos. And that's when I really started opening the window. It was like around 2007, 2008. And, it's a window that once you open, you can't close that window anymore. You can't go back to saying, oh yeah, actually the government is really cool. Actually we should be fighting all these wars. Actually the Federal Reserve is a wonderful savior of humanity. And so yeah, I'd say 2008. And, I kind of did my own brand of activism for a long time. I joined the party for the first time. I think it was 2012 after, watching the GOP screw over Ron Paul for so long. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be a member of this party. Or maybe it was 2010. I think it was 2010. I joined the party the first time, and then I rejoined again in 2016 and worked on Gary Johnson's campaign and was a region rep for Washington State Party. And that's when I really got heavily involved with the party, was 2016. So.
Yeah. The LNC has recently canceled the paid membership referred partner program.
Oh boy.
What are your thoughts on that?
I'm pissed. I'm upset.
For those listening that don't know what it is, basically, you got like a referral link from the National Party, and if somebody signed up to be a member of the National Party through that link, I think you got $5 back or something like that.
Yeah, it was like $5 for every member you could get to come to the party, which is, you figure a lot of these people are paying $25, so that's still $20 for the party. Some people are paying $25 a month. Some people are paying $10 a month. I mean, really, it's bringing new members to the party. Now, here's the thing, though. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. I just woke up with dry hair. It's horrible. Here's the thing. I know for a fact that program was successful. We got told repeatedly by the executive director, the prior executive director, Daniel Fishman, that the program was successful. The class of 2019 was the biggest class this party had experienced since in almost 2 decades. So I know that this thing was becoming successful. Now we're being told that none of those people renewed and this and that and this and that. But we know people that are still coming in through those links. I mean, we know. And so when I was told by I wasn't even told by the board. The board was not notified that this program was going to be deleted. And I was sent an email that one of our podcasters who was bringing people in hand over fist was sent saying that they were going to be getting rid of this program. So I went to the board and I sent this message. I said, this is something I think the board should make a decision on. We've been told that it was really successful. I'd like to see the data behind this program. Like, I want to see it all laid out in a spreadsheet. Where did it fail? Where was it positive? And to this day, I have yet to see any of that data. So, I think that we were doing really good recruiting, and as per the usual over the last several years, there's some people in this party that don't want those people to be recruited into the party. And I think that they took an initiative upon themselves to get rid of a program that would help bring those members to the party. So I'm going to keep pushing for the data, and hopefully we get the data so that I can say, hey, look, this is what I think, and we should decide this as a board, because we should decide it as a board. It is a party process that, for all intents and purposes, we've been told has been very successful. And then all of a sudden, now that executive director is not here anymore, we're being told that it is not successful. And so, I'm very skeptical that it's not successful. I believe that it was successful, and I believe that at some point we'll bring it back. So.
Yeah, well, there's no reason to be withholding the data, in my opinion, unless it actually was successful and they don't want people to.
Exactly.
Well, it doesn't really even make sense to cancel it anyways, because all it was whether you're a member of the National Party or a state party or just registered Libertarian, in my opinion, you're a member of the party. So really, it's just a fundraising tool. Yeah. Really, you know what I mean? It's just bringing money into the National Party, and you get a little card that says you're a member.
It gives people with large platforms it gives them incentive to really drive membership. And so, I don't know. It's stupid to me.
Yeah, we were going to look into that. You could do it for the state parties, but only if you file FEC filings.
Sure. And
we don't as a state party right now, so. We couldn't do it, but we were looking into that too, because it sounded like a good program.
Yeah, like I said, for all intents and purposes, we were told it was very successful, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. And so, I don't know. When I ran against our current chair, Joe Bishop Henchman, I put a big emphasis on membership. I mean, that's what I think drives our party. I think it's the lifeblood that keeps our party going. If you look at the data, that also seems to agree with me. But our current chair, when we were running against each other, said several times that membership didn't matter, and that it was about this and about big huge fundraising asks and stuff. And I was like, well, I understand that it's big to have big donors, but the party membership is who becomes activists for the party. They're who becomes campaign managers and campaign staff. They're the people who work events. They're the people who, what I mean? It's you got to understand that, if we lose a couple dollars per member here and there, it's not a huge deal because those members are putting in so much work that, they're paying for themselves in their outreach and their activism. And so, that was one of the places where me and Joe Bishop Henchman really diverged. I believe that membership, it needs to be a huge factor for this party. I believe we need to put a bigger emphasis on recruiting and retaining memberships, and Joe just doesn't. So I wasn't super surprised to hear that, because he doesn't care about membership as much as a guy like I would.
How would you say Joe Bishop Henchman's chairmanship compares to Nicholas Sarwark's?
I don't think there's a whole lot of difference, man, to be honest with you. One good thing about Joe is he is not purposely trying to inflame the liberty movement, outwardly, at least. He's not out there. One of the reasons why I ran for chair the first time in 2018 was because I love Tom Woods. I mean, this is one of the nicest gentlemen you'll ever meet in the world. He's just awesome, great knowledge of history, very good, very failed podcaster, some people would say, but very good podcaster. And probably one of the sweetest guys I've ever met. And I'm watching Nicholas Sarwark attack this guy who's got a following that's much bigger than the National Party membership base, and so I'm glad that Joe doesn't do that kind of stuff. He doesn't go out and try to inflame these flame wars on Twitter with these big name libertarians. But I think some of the behind the scenes stuff, he's really focused on nuts and bolts. And it's like, I think we need a chair that's going to go out and make people want to join the party and has a voice that speaks to the ideals of libertarianism. And I think he falls flat there. And I think that's, another place where we really diverged in 2020. So we'll see what happens in 2022. But I think for the most part, Joe's done some really good things, and then Joe's done some things that I don't agree with, like this affiliate program thing is really bad, I think. So
here's a question from one of our South Dakota Libertarian members. What should the Libertarian Party's strategy, focus, and messaging be for the upcoming election cycle?
Strategy, focus, strategy, and messaging?
Strategy, focus, and messaging.
Well, I think our
strategy
should
do it all.
I think our strategy on messaging really needs to change. I mean, I think that our strategy should be much louder messaging. I think we've had this tyranny handed to us on a silver platter, where the libertarians should have been out front on all of this. We should have been the party of anti-lockdowns. We should have been the party, of business shuttering. We should have been the party against sending money to foreign governments in a time of crisis. And I think that we really need to highlight all that stuff in 2022. I think that, our candidates really need to think about highlighting that. We got congressional candidates that will have a say in this thing should they win, and so I think we really need to focus on the last year and say, look, this is what your government has done for you. They've left you stranded in a time of crisis. They thought $600 would change your life. It didn't. They forced you to shut your businesses. They forced you to stay in your house. They forced you to wear 67 masks every time you go to the grocery store. It's, these things have to change. And I think the libertarians are the only party who understand that and can message against that. So I think our candidates in 2022 really need to sit down and craft a bomb throwing messaging plan where, it's like, look at what they've done to us. It's time to change it. So I think that should really be our strategy in 2022. As far as the Libertarian Party, the National Party, I would say the same thing. I think that people are already starting to kind of understand the Libertarian Party is the only party that was actually against these lockdowns. It wasn't the GOP. It wasn't the Democrats. It certainly isn't the Green Party. I think a lot of people are starting to understand that. We're starting to see an influx of people from other parties come to the Libertarian Party now too, which, I'm sure has a lot to do with these people saying how their own elected representatives are acting during a time of crisis. So, I think we just run with that. I think we got, like I said, it's been handed to us on a silver platter. We have been handed the best messaging opportunity of our lives since the beginning of the Iraq War, and so I just think we really need to sit down and, I've talked about creating focused messaging goals if I become the chair of the party, where, here's what we need to message and here's how we're going to do it. And if we're in the media, let's take one of these points and talk about these points ad nauseum until, people start to understand that this is what the Libertarian Party stands for. And so, I don't know, you could give me the opportunity by voting for me in 2022 for chair to work on messaging goals. So.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
we had a goal after last year's convention that we were going to try to double our national party membership so that we could double our delegate count.
Sure.
But so far that hasn't exactly worked. But we need to start pushing that.
Yeah. It's a hard time, man. You're trying to get people to join a political party when they can't even work. I mean, I guess you guys have had it a little easier in South Dakota, but
yeah. See, we kind of take it for granted a little bit. I'll admit it. Like when I hear everyone kind of talking about, well, we need to, these masks are really, these mask mandates and these shutdowns are really bad and stuff. We kind of, like I said, kind of take it for granted a little bit because we haven't really experienced that, and we don't really know what's going on in other places.
Well, Chrissy Nome is she's kind of been like, fuck you, federal government. I think we're gonna do our own thing.
Well, the second half of the show, we're gonna do nothing but complain about her. But
sure.
But when it comes,
I see a lot of people like, oh, Chrissy Nome, she hasn't shut anything down. She must be libertarian. I'm like, no. She is definitely not. But she has done some good things during this time of crisis, which is, at least that's good. Everybody's done some good shit. Ron DeSantis has done some great things in Florida during this crisis. I wouldn't want Ron DeSantis to be my governor, so, but, whatever.
I think your governor finally eased restrictions.
Yeah, they just lifted a bunch of the restrictions. Our kids get to go back to school full time on Tuesday, the day after tomorrow, which is nice. They've been on this for a while. They were on virtual only, which sucks because if you know my story, I recently got custody of my 16-year-old daughter. Finally, after a long time, and she had two siblings that were going to go to foster care, so we were able to get custody of them as well. And so, but these kids hadn't been to school in a long time, and they're being forced to do virtual school, and they're just like, it was a mess because they didn't, they hadn't even been in a classroom in 3 years, and now they have to do a classroom at home at the kitchen table on a laptop that they don't really know how to use, and so it was a mess. And then they went to hybrid where they were doing like 2 or 3 days a week at school and 2 or 3 days a week at home. And now finally they get to go back to school full time on Tuesday. So, thankfully Kim Reynolds is finally lifting some of this stuff. But, Iowa's been pretty lax too. They didn't really shutter all the businesses. Businesses were still allowed, restaurants were still allowed to have like indoor dining at 50%. And, a lot of places went to carry out only, but I was been okay, but it's definitely still, it's still not great. I would have taken a Ron DeSantis over Kim Reynolds during this crisis. I would have taken a Christy Noem over Kim Reynolds in this crisis, but Iowa also doesn't like weed here, so.
We got some comments here. Tom says, I don't feel I need to be a card-carrying member, but I certainly don't object to obtaining funding and membership that way. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out about it. I think Greg and I were talking about trying to do that with our podcast, throw the link, their referral link out, and then if anybody signs up to be a libertarian, we get $5, but what can you do? Just got to vote for better people at the Reno 2022.
Yeah, bring me as chair. I promise I'll reinstate affiliate program. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think it was a good way to make money for the party. But and I understand. I would like you to become a card-carrying member of the Libertarian Party. I very much enjoy that. But if all you can do is work on a local campaign for a libertarian, or all you can do is little libertarian events here and there, do it, man. Whatever activism floats your boat, please do it. Please get out and get involved and be active. You don't have to be a national member of the party. I mean, you just don't. It's not and for all intents and purposes, you don't have to be one to become a delegate to the national convention in 2022 either. I mean, most states, you only have to be a state party member and be a part of the state voter or the state voter rolls as a libertarian. So, it's not the most important thing in the world, but it does help the party. I mean, that's what funds and drives our party is membership. So if you want to see the Libertarian Party become more successful at a national level, becoming a party member is very helpful. So.
Yeah, if you want to see South Dakota have more than 5 delegates, definitely register to be a national member if you're from South Dakota.
Yeah.
The Dakota Rustler says, we need to teach those who like to be led that life is better to lead your own way. I agree with you, Mr. Root.
Also agree.
Tom says, I'm liking what I hear. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate the comments. Dakota Rustler says businesses should decide for themselves.
Yeah, I agree, and they should. I think in a time of crisis like this, it should be up to the individual and the business owner. I mean, there's no reason why government should say, "Hey, we're having a crisis, and you need to shut your business right now." I feel like people can make their own decisions. For me personally, I wasn't super scared of this virus. Even from the time it first got here, I was flying in and out of SFO every week at San Francisco Airport every weekend. 5,000 people a day were flying back and forth between China and San Francisco. And I'm flying in and out every weekend. I got really, really, really sick last January. And I'm almost positive it was COVID. I got it on a flight to Atlanta. I came back from Atlanta. I was really, really sick for a week. It was so bad I'd walk up the stairs and I'd have to sit down halfway up the stairs and take a break before I got to my bedroom. I'm sure I had COVID already, but it didn't. I'm not really scared about this. I know that there's people who are medically fragile who need to stay home or need to wear a mask or have to worry about this stuff. But it's like, there's a lot of the virus has a 99.96 survivability rate. I mean, most of us are going to be fine as long as our governor doesn't send COVID plus patients into nursing homes with medically fragile people who it's definitely going to kill. Most states have done pretty well, but you look at some of these states that have the strictest lockdowns, but they sent people into nursing homes that were COVID plus, like New York and Pennsylvania and even California, and they have these really high death tolls. Well, of course they do. Why wouldn't they? So yeah, it should totally be up to the businesses. I think the nursing home should have been able to tell COVID plus patients they couldn't come there. You know what I mean? But some of these governors told them that they had to take them, and governors told you had to close your business and you had to wear masks and you had to stay home unless it was for essential things. And they basically told you which jobs were essential to them. It didn't matter that every job is essential to putting food on your table for your family. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely got to be up to the business and the individual, not some sweeping central planning that says, hey, you're going to do what we say or we're going to fine you, because I'm sure fines is what keeps us all safe.
Well, I saw something the other day, it's like, when is this all going to end? Not just the lockdowns, but everything in general. And I saw something that Biden was ordering 600 million doses of the vaccine. It's like, so you're telling me mandatory vaccinations coming?
Yeah.
Because there's only 320 something million people in the country, and you just bought enough doses for every person in the country. Basically.
Sure. And they go bad.
Yeah, exactly. That was going to be my point. They go bad, so why would you even order that many?
Yeah, we know this vaccine goes bad. I mean, within a matter of a couple of days after being, delivered to whatever facility it's delivered to.
Or if it's not stored at the right temperature.
Yeah, I mean, we know that it's got to be stored sub-zero temperatures, and it still goes bad after a certain amount of time, and it's quick. I mean, I've never heard of a vaccine going bad that quickly. But I guess with the mRNA vaccine, which is brand new, I mean, you guys understand that we have never rolled out a mass mRNA vaccine in the history of vaccines, and now we've rolled one out in less than 6 months, and we're administering it to people all over the country without any proper third or fourth phase trials whatsoever. So my home is not going to take the vaccine, that's for sure. We'll, if we're going to take the vaccine, it's going to be a couple years from now after it's had some serious data put to the flame. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that roll out, but it's going to be a really ugly mess if they do try to mandate vaccines for everybody around the country. Mm-hmm. It'll be basically the first time that's really happened, and it's going to be It'll be an ugly mess because there's a lot of people with medical exemptions. There's a lot of people with religious exemptions. I mean, they're at this point, they would be fighting the constitutionality of it. It would have to go through the Supreme Court. I mean, it would be a really, really big mess. And so, I understand that that's something that could happen, but I also believe that there's so much that would be involved there that it can't happen, hopefully. But nothing ever surprises me. And in Joe Biden's America, it's really not going to surprise me.
Well, I tell you what, Corona's like exacerbated every terrible government policy. I mean, you look at like the national debt right now. I mean, they keep coming up with these stimulus bills, and 90% of it has nothing to do with Corona, nothing to do with the stimulus.
Gender studies in Pakistan, man, it's really important during COVID.
It's just they keep throwing all this stuff in there, and they're using Corona as an excuse. I mean, I've kind of been saying this for a few weeks now. Like, we are very close to UBI.
Oh yeah.
And like they're already talking about like single moms getting $300 a month.
They're talking about there was one going around. It was like $3,600 per kid per quarter. I was like, holy! I mean, hey man, we got lots of kids here, so okay. But
Josh Smith is retired.
Yeah, you guys sent me $3,600. Robert's hiring, man. So thank you for the UBI. We're gonna go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, they've been hitting at this UBI. These stimulus packages are obviously tanking the economy. I mean, it really, a lot of people don't understand how our money works in this country, and that the Federal Reserve just constantly printing money is not a helpful thing to the value of our dollar.
Yeah.
But people, single mothers who have one or two kids and are not able to work right now, of course they want the money. They're going to take any dollar amount they can get because they have to feed their kids. They've put us in this position. They've put Americans in a position where they have to rely on the government because the government has now forced them out of work. And if you look at the data, it's something like 42% of the people who have been, who have business shuttered or have been laid off because their job is shuttered. These people won't ever open their doors again. I work for a financial data center that was 4 stories and filled to the brim with cubicles of people working there. And there's only 3 divisions left. The rest of the people will never come back to that building. It's over. They've already moved all the cubicles out, everything. And half of those people have been laid off, and they'll never return to the company because of COVID. And so, people are going to get reliant on the government. And that's, I gotta let everybody that's watching this in on a little secret. That's what they want. They want you reliant on them because there's a lot of people with a lot of wealth in this country that these shutdowns don't matter to, right? And the only way they can justify taking more of their money from them is to make you reliant on the government. And so that's how it trickles. The government says, okay, well, now we can effectively, especially in Joe Biden's America, we can effectively, raise the tax rate on people making this much money and more because we can justify that because we have all these people over here that are out of work. They're out of work. They need to feed their kids. Please help these hungry people. And it's like, you did that. You created this shit. So, it's a lot of people don't understand how the government works. They're not always honest with you. I'll tell you.
Well, it makes it terribly difficult, honestly, to get libertarians elected anyways, because here you have the outgoing administration, a Republican who is calling for more stimulus as he's leaving office. Instead of $600, he wanted $2,000 and this and that. And then you get a Democrat in there, and there's literally no difference whatsoever because he's saying, well, yeah, we need to do the $2,000. Only he kind of screwed you because now it turned into $1,400, not $2,000.
Well, and only $1,400 if you make under a certain amount of money now too. But don't forget that.
But it makes, like I say, it kind of makes it hard on libertarians because you guys are literally buying votes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what you're doing. You're handing out money, and vote for me. If you do, I'm giving you, this, that, and this.
Well, that's the best part is we, as libertarians, we understand that, these politicians from the old parties, they never deliver on their promises, right? They just don't do it. They campaign like, Democrats, they campaign one way and then they govern another way. It's the same with the Republicans. And Joe Biden basically went to the American public and blackmailed them. Hey, if you guys give us the Senate, if you give us this Georgia special election runoff Senate race, I'm going to give you $2,000. Every American, $2,000. So they win the Senate, and then there's no $2,000.
Yeah.
Now it's $1,400, but maybe not $1,400.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 months from now, and maybe if you make under $40,000, we'll send you this $1,500. And so, you know, they literally did it in real time. They showed us why I don't vote for Democrats, you know, in real time, because they lie to you. They tell you, you know, they really use these communities like the Black community and BLM, and then as soon as they get into office, it's like the door shuts behind them. You know, no refunds. It's really what it is. It's no refunds. You know, you know, if you talk to anybody for BLM, you know, Black Lives Matter, the Biden campaign has not reached out to them since winning this election. I mean, they ran on BLM. I mean, they really radicalized BLM and said, we're going to be there for the Black community and blah, 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 blah. And they got into office and they shut the door behind them. If that doesn't prove to you that you need to stop voting for these two old parties, these shit heels in the two old parties, I don't know what does. I really can't. I really don't understand how you can continue to vote for these people. But I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and that's it, you know. But yeah, we're not getting that money, man. I'd almost bet we're not getting those stimulus packages. But there may be some more going to gender studies in Pakistan. You just never know.
They'll probably just make you get a vaccine first, and then they'll give you some money.
Sorry, gender programs. It's not gender studies, it's gender programs. My bad.
We've got some more comments here. Tom says, I might buy a card after listening to you. Hell yeah, Tom.
I love it, man. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's, you know, like I said, if you want a successful national libertarian party, if you want a successful third party that's actually going to be able to compete against these two like financial juggernauts of the Republicans and Democrats, we need money. I mean, there's just no way that we can get by on, you know, $1.5 million a year like we are right now. We're never going to be competition for those parties if we don't start raising more money, but also members, because you're the activists that drive the party. And so, yeah, we would appreciate it. Buy a card, you know, give me a call. We'll talk on the phone.
Chris German says, my 91-year-old grandma beat Rona like a boss.
Hell yeah, she
did. Glad to hear that, Chris. Dakota Rustler sarcastically says, trust your overlords.
No thanks.
Joshua understands.
Yes, sir.
I think he does too, Mr. Root. LOL presidential candidate for 2024.
Oh, me? No. You hate me, Tom. You hate me. Huh? No, I've been asked to run. I've been asked to run for president several times over the last couple of years. It still blows my mind. I'm just a blue collar maintenance guy from the West Coast who now lives in the middle of the country, is freezing his entire neck off. But
well, that's what South Dakota wants to hear in our presidential candidate.
I did say that if I don't see any suitable vice presidential candidates step up, that I would possibly run for vice president. We'll see. I'd look good in a suit. I do look good in the suit.
Hell yeah. Jacob says, Greg is my favorite. I don't know. I'm going to ban that my person right there. Dakota Rustler says, when the people find that they can vote themselves money, they will herald the end of the republic. Benjamin Franklin.
That's a great quote by Benjamin. And it's true. It's true. You know, if you want people to talk bad about good things, just pay them. That's really all it takes, you know.
So I got like 2 questions left. Do you have any questions, Greg? Before I think mine too should be like the final.
Yeah. So I mean, how do you like being on the LNC? And then I had a follow up. You know, how many emails do you get, and how many angry and bitchy?
Well, here's the good thing. The majority of the angry, bitchy emails come from people like the Mises Caucus members who are like, why would you remove this affiliate program? Or why would you do this? Or why did you guys vote against a motion that would have strengthened our platform or what we believe in property rights? You know, they're not really angry at me because I'm the guy that they support that agrees with them. So thankfully, it's, you know, I don't get a lot of the angry emails. You know, I'm kind of a troll online. You know, if you guys follow me at all on Twitter, you know that I am not nice to people that are assholes to other people. And so every once in a while, people will email the rest of the board about my behavior online, you know, because I called them a nerd or something. It's like, well, you were being kind of a nerd, man. I mean, really, you know, it's not like I'm stuffing you in a locker in public, but So
that happens to me a lot too as communications director.
Yeah, you're the communications director for the state party. Yeah, absolutely. But that's just who I am. I'm a brash guy, and I'm not ever going to reserve my judgment of what a situation is just because it might hurt your delicate feelings. I'm sorry, it's just who I'm going to be. And so I don't get a lot of crazy emails, but occasionally people will email the board to tattletale on me, and that's it is what it is. They're not going to remove me from the board for it. But I enjoy being on the Libertarian National Committee. I really enjoy the fact that I get to travel around to other states. I get to meet libertarians all over the country. It's been one of the greatest things about my runs for chair is I've shaken hands with 20,000 libertarians around the country. I've been to 40 states over the last 4 or 5 years. It's great. I've got to build a movement now with my podcast coming up. That I start my show on the 24th. I go live for my first Break the Cycle live stream. But it's really been great. I don't always like all the members of the board. I know that's shocking to you guys, but I don't always like all the members of the board. And I try to work as well as with them as I can. Even with Nick Sarwark, the term that I shared on the board with Nick Sarwark, I really tried to shake his hand in person and say, hey, can I do this? Can we do this? Is there a possibility we can do this? Because just because you don't like the driver of your airplane, the pilot of your airplane, doesn't mean you want them to wreck the entire plane, because that kills you too. And so I love this party. I love the movement. I love our members. I think that this party can be a really effective vehicle for libertarian ideals on a national platform. And so I'm not going to try to destroy the party. So I try to work with the people that I may not like or that may not like me, but it doesn't always work out that way, unfortunately. But I have the majority of my time on this board. I have really enjoyed the work. I have enjoyed the travel. I've enjoyed you guys, the libertarians around the country that have supported me or not supported me. I've really just enjoyed my conversations and my dinners and my lunches and karaoke in Alexandria with a bunch of people. It's like I got to do really cool things and meet really cool people, and I wouldn't have traded it for the world. So,
let's see. South Dakota State Convention is on March 20th in Sioux Falls. Any plans to crash our convention this year?
You guys are at Sioux Falls. That's
so about 4 hours.
Yeah, that's not a long drive. Let's set it up, man. I would love to come check out South Dakota. I was just talking to Julia about bringing we want to take the drive to bring the kids to Mount Rushmore and stuff like that at some point too, because it's like 10 hours from us. But yeah, Sioux Falls is not that far. I think I could probably show up in a quick 4-hour drive on a Friday night or a Saturday morning for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a Saturday. We're going to start at 2. We don't have the location set yet, but it is Sioux Falls.
Well, you let me know. I'll bring my party hat.
And then we've got all of our own elections at our state this year. We serve 2-year terms too, but we hold our elections in off years so that they're not competing with like the actual elections,
Sure. Who's your chair currently?
Gideon Oaks.
Oh, that's right. Sure.
And then so he'll be going out, and then in the past we haven't really had contested races. It's kind of a coalition of the willing, kind of a small party. So it kind of comes down to who kind of shows up type of deal.
You have no idea how many times I've gone to the bathroom and came back as like the vice chair or the treasurer. I was the treasurer for my county party. And it was like I went to the bathroom and came back and they're like, hey, congratulations, you were elected treasurer. I'm like, what? Actually, my first leadership position in this party, I was in Washington State. It was right before the Gary Johnson campaign really kicked into full effect. And I was like, I'm going to go to this state convention. It was about 3 hours north of where I was at. And I showed up and they're doing these officer elections. And all of a sudden they're like, Region 5, is anyone from Region 5? And I look around, I'm like, me. And they're like, you're the Region 5 representative. Congratulations. I was like, because nobody else showed up for my region, And so yeah, I get it. It's how it works in some places in this party, and we got to change that. We got to make it so every single intra-party race is competitive, and I think we'll, over the next 5 years, I think we'll really get there.
Well, we're getting there. We had some awesome growth this year. We were of course a little bit disappointed in the presidential results as far as the numbers were concerned. But
we were number 1 still out of all the states for Georgia.
Yeah, we still got what you got, 3 or 4% here.
Yeah, she got 3%, which is higher than anybody else.
Nice. What's your population there?
We only have like 800,000 people, so but we have a smaller party to convince those 800,000 people to vote.
I couldn't remember if you guys had more or less people in North Dakota as far as pops go, but
I think we have more. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think slightly more.
Yeah. I think
it's really cold up there.
600,000 or 700,000.
If you think it's cold here, go to North Dakota.
Oh, I know, man. This whole middle of the country thing is every winter. I feel like I'm probably going to die at least once. Well, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, but so what I was going to say about the membership is South Dakota actually has exploded in membership growth in the last 6 months. 4 months leading up to election, plus the last couple months after the election, we've grown 28%.
Holy crap! Yeah,
we went from like 1,900 registered libertarians to almost 2,500.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, and that's why I said. So even though like the presidential numbers were a little bit of disappointment, we grew a lot. Yeah, as a party, and we're excited.
Dakota Rustler says 870,000 people live in South Dakota.
Oh yeah,
and
so that's definitely big.
Mercedes says Greg is also my favorite. What is this attack on me?
Looks like you might have to ban somebody else now.
All my family is watching. Where's my mom at?
Yeah. That's I was a musician for a long time. I played in a lot of bands. My mom was always front row at any show that was close to home. Mom's always front row, and I'm like, that's my number one fan. If no one else shows up, I know my mother is going to be there, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Cole Thompson says CIA Sarwar.
The CIA is not setting their best. The CIA is not setting their best. I promise you that.
I'm going to say Joshua Smith got banned from Facebook. I'm not connecting dots here. You look like a Viking, Devin. Well, thank you. I'm getting a compliment finally.
He is pretty Viking-ish. And last term when I got all these videos to put together for that montage video for that endorsement video that we put out at the convention on the screen. Devin sent me probably one of the coolest videos out of all those videos. I mean, you were so passionate about it. And you talked a lot about crypto and blockchain. And that's something that
that's how I came to the Libertarian Party. Is I was a big crypto dude, and there's a lot of libertarian ideas in crypto.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to join this Libertarian Party now.
Yeah, well, I talked about that a lot, especially in 2008, my 2018 run. How we need to merge the crypto community with the Libertarian Party. I mean, we're talking young, libertarian-minded millionaires.
And they've got money, lots of money, especially now.
And they, they're working with a decentralized currency that's circumventing the federal government. I mean, these people are our people. And Bitcoin.com actually wrote an article about me trying to bring the crypto community to the party. And that's something that I'm going to harp on a lot more this term too, because look at what crypto's doing. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's about to hit $50,000 per coin today. Okay, in 2010 you could have bought it for under $10. Let that sink in. That's where our society is headed. It is headed to a decentralized currency that circumvents the federal government because they don't care about us. They don't care about our money. It's over. The financial system that we used to know as we know it is coming to an end. And Bitcoin is obviously going to be the future. And so we really need to be at the forefront of that as a national political party.
Yeah, I agree too. There's a lot of use cases for blockchain. Even if it's not currency, you can use it for voting.
Oh yeah, voting and something the party
contracts.
Should be. Yeah, the party should be using blockchain for their voting processes. I mean, it's not hard to do. So we wouldn't have had this mess like we did at the last convention.
That was one question I was going to ask. Not exactly convention, but I've seen. I don't pay too much attention. I'm sorry to the LNC, but I've seen people complaining that some people are trying to push for more online meetings versus actual in-person meetings. And then I wonder if that, I'm hoping that is not going to carry over to 2022, where we got this.
In 2022, I am staunchly against any portion of our national convention being done online. I'm done. I tried to concede some points in 2020, and once we showed up to that national convention, and I realized there was no reason whatsoever that should not have been an in-person convention, I was done. I'll never support it again unless the entire country is on fire. I will not support online for our national convention. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people at this national convention that are going to stand up and say no. So if you think that pushing this board to make it a hybrid option for this convention is going to work, I'm telling you that at the 2022 convention, the delegates on the floor are going to stand up and say, sorry, you're not participating this year. So you better start making plans to get to Reno in 2022, because it's going to be a much different convention than 2020.
Yeah, I definitely saw like what do you want to call it? Like a group of people that were purposely acting like they couldn't make it to, it's so irresponsible to show up to convention, but yet had just went on vacation.
And then some of them showed up to convention anyways. That blew my mind. Some of the people who came onto our LNC meetings and rallied the hardest against in-person meetings showed up anyways. And I'm going, are you kidding me? How you literally came on every LNC call and during public comment chastise us for wanting to have an in-person convention, and you're here. You are here. One of those people was Nicholas Sarwark. Let that sink in.
Yeah, I just want to point out people have been asking all over social media for one person who got COVID-19 in Orlando, and there's been nobody got it. So there's a bunch of scare tactics.
There was six or 700 of us in a room for 5 days together, and none of us in Florida, which was the hot spot at the time. In Orlando, Florida, which was the hot spot at the time.
Next to a testing center.
We flew, right next to a testing center. We all flew in from all over the country on airplanes with other people who should be, by all intents and purposes, giving us COVID. And not a single person at the National Convention got COVID. And that was during the height of the COVID infections. I mean, it was bad. So, I mean, I'm just saying it's probably not as bad as you think it is. And, for the most part, people were pretty good on the convention floor about wearing masks and stuff. But man, all the after parties that I went to, all the, walking around the hotel, I mean, nobody was wearing masks. Nobody was wearing the mask. So
there's very light mask usage there.
The only time I ever wore one is whenever you'd enter the hotel part.
And they made you.
You were forced to.
Same. Yeah, absolutely. They were like, let me check your temperature, put a mask on. You're like, and as soon as you got past the door, you're like, okay. All right.
Well, I've got one question left. Do you have any questions left, Greg?
Oh, it's just who would be your favorite person on the LNC, either past or present, to work with?
Oh man, there's been several that I enjoy working with. I love Ken Molman, our current vice chair. I'm a big fan of him as a person, so it's always nice to hang out with Ken. Karen Ann Harlos and me get along really well. We have our spats. My favorite person on the LNC is the alternate from Oklahoma, Erin Adams. She's like one of my best friends outside of the LNC. She's amazing. She's passionate. She works hard. She's done great things for this party. Erin Adams is really just amazing. But there's so many people on the LNC that I really do love. I love John Phillips. He's been a really good friend to me. Jared Hall, who, me and him do not see eye to eye on stuff. We're actually probably in two pretty distinct separate camps. He's been a great friend to me over the 4 years that I've been running for office inside the party. I love the guy to death. I even like Tim Hagan. He's a nice guy. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. He's a great treasurer. I mean, there's cool people. I have good situations with almost everybody on the Libertarian National Committee. There's a few people I don't care for. It's always going to be that way, but I like everybody. But definitely Erin Adams. If I had to pick one, Erin Adams is one of my best friends in life, not just on the LNC. So
I would say Erin Adams definitely carries that Drunken Disorderly podcast like by herself. Like that's the only reason why I watch it at all.
I love Dre. Dre's awesome. There's some good people on Drunken. I've been on Drunken Disorderly several times, and one time I kind of went on there and talked some serious shit about Nick Sarwark. I don't know if you ever watched that podcast, but it was
well, my final question is, I'm running for the chair of the Libertarian Party of South Dakota, and is there any tips or advice that you would have as somebody who's run as the national chair?
Be unapologetically libertarian and lay out a blueprint. I mean, that was in 2018, when I ran for chair, I had no fucking clue what I was doing. I mean, just to be honest with you, I didn't. I saw areas where I thought the Libertarian Party could excel, and I made a platform about it and said, this is what I would do. But I didn't know what I was doing. In 2020, I had a blueprint. I mean, I laid it all out. I said, these are the things that I know are going to work for this party, because these are the things that have been successful that I have been doing for this party on the Libertarian National Committee. So lay out your blueprint, lay out your roadmap for making South Dakota a libertarian state, and present it to your party members. I mean, that's really what it takes. That's what every party member in this country wants to see: a successful libertarian party, because that's where they put their blood, sweat, and tears. So give them the light at the end of the tunnel. Say, this is how we're going to achieve this, and if they like your plan, they're going to vote for you. That's how it's going to work,
Yeah.
But also be unapologetically libertarian. I know I don't have to tell you to do that one, Devin.
Yeah, I get a little heat for being too libertarian sometimes, but I don't ever say anything. I'm not like CJ though. I'm a little bit more.
CJ's hardcore, man. CJ, they memed about CJ after some of those online portions of the convention, man. What did he say? With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, what did he call him? I don't remember.
Probably a tyrant, something.
Yeah, tyrant. I mean, he went off. CJ did not mess around, that guy. And I have, I love CJ to death. I don't, CJ and me have had some similar situations. Obviously, we're both fathers' rights guys. I've gone through the family court system just like CJ, and had to deal with the same bullshit. So we have some kindred soul there, and I like CJ a lot. So.
Do you have anything else for Mr. Smith there, Greg?
No, hopefully we'll see you in March if you come up for the convention. I was going to say the national convention, but that's some time away yet. But and if anybody watching this wants to check out my new show that's going to start on the 24th, you can go to youtube.com/Fight the Despots. Or you can just search Breaking the Cycle with Joshua Smith on YouTube. Make sure you sign up there to subscribe for the channel and hit the alerts, and it'll let you know when my live streams are up. But it will be Wednesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. There'll be a solo podcast show, and on Friday nights at 7 or 7:30 Central Time p.m. that we'll have interviews with great people that I've already got lined up, like Mosh Teray, Dave Smith, Phil Labonte, the lead singer of All That Remains, also hardcore libertarian who just joined the party. Really, really, really cool show. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'd love to have you guys if you want to check me out, and follow me on Twitter at Joshua at Large. That's where I go hard in the paint, even on blue checks all the time. So it's a good time. Thank you guys so much again for having me. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. All right, so now second half of the show, we've got we're going to talk about Amendment A being overruled by a tyrant judge. I got a little video I've made to set the mood, so I'll play that first, and then we'll get to it. Let me scroll down here and get to the video. Yeah, so what are we even I'm gonna try to compose myself as much as possible, because this is something that really ticks me off. As a petitioner for these things, I was standing in the rain and snow for months getting signatures for this. They already roadblocked us on the petitioning process by They didn't even give us the petition. They didn't like, what is that called when the Attorney General approves it or whatever. We didn't get like the Attorney General approval with his statement. At least like less than 3 months before we needed to get all the signatures, and it's a constitutional amendment, so we needed 30,000 signatures that were valid, which means you really need to get like 60,000 to make, just in case some of those people or change their address or whatever and they're not valid signatures anymore. We ended up getting 50,000 signatures in like 2.5 months, so we overcame that hurdle. Then we had to wait a year. It passed 54%. Let me get the results up. I have that saved. Here's the results. 54% for full legal cannabis and 70% for medical. Now they're trying to mess with both. Greg, what are your thoughts? I know they're trying to delay medical. I think they're afraid to mess with medical too much because that was 70%. So but they're trying to delay it for a year.
Yeah, Kristi Noem released a statement. I don't have the whole statement in front of me, but she's basically said, as far as the medical is concerned, the medical aspect, she said that she's going to respect the will of the voters, and they're gonna, they just want to postpone it because apparently it's too complicated of an issue for them, and because they've never discussed it ever. They're really concerned about it, and so she wants to push it back. And there's actually a hearing next Wednesday, I think it is. It's called House Bill 1100, and they want to push back the implementation of the medical marijuana program by a year. And first of all, I don't like that, anyways. The patients, the people in South Dakota that voted, 70% voted for this. And the patients have been waiting years to get, legal access to medicine. And
hey, Greg, I don't want to interrupt you, but Mr. Daryl Root, our treasurer for Libertarian Party South Dakota, has joined the broadcast. How you doing, Daryl? Oh, I think your mic is muted or something, or I don't know. It doesn't say he's muted on the StreamYard. It must be on the, I don't know,
on your computer. Just sign language.
But yeah, Greg and I will keep rambling until you figure out.
No, but so now the medical patients have to wait a year. You're insulting them by even saying that. And one of the possible proposals I had heard was she wanted to create some 22-person board to go over the regulations for medical marijuana. And it's insulting them by even saying that. And one of the possible proposals I
think we could hear Daryl now. Can you say something, Daryl?
22-person board to go over the regulations for medical marijuana. He's got the video up.
Oh,
are you watching the video?
Yeah. I think we could hear Daryl now. Can you say something, Daryl?
22-person board to go over the regulations for medical. He's got the video.
Hello.
Yeah, I would hear you now.
Watching the video?
Yeah. Hey, you should close out of the video you're watching while you're on the broadcast, because we can hear our delay of ourselves.
Got that radio loop.
Yeah.
I'll be back 1 second. Welcome.
I've got some links here that Greg sent me. Let's see. We'll start with this one here. You still there with us, Daryl? All right. Well, I'm pulling up a link here. If you're not from South Dakota, basically, we passed legalized marijuana by 54% of the vote, and Kristi Noem, our governor, that everybody thinks is about freedom and individual liberties, says that South Dakotans can't be trusted with legal weed. Now she's saying that it was unconstitutional that we legalized weed. So she filed a lawsuit, and that went to Judicial Circuit 6, which was a judge that she appointed back in 2019. That judge ruled recently that Amendment A was unconstitutional, and now it's going to the Supreme Court. Hopefully, I haven't heard anything about the Supreme Court actually accepting the case. So, like, as of now, Amendment A is overturned by one person deciding that for 54% of South Dakota. I just like a lot of the comments I've been seeing are just completely demoralized people who, don't even believe in the system anymore. I mean, that's probably a good thing from an ANCAP standpoint, but for you wanting people to get out to vote for ballot initiatives, and this is also going to negatively impact ballot initiatives, like any ballot initiative, not just marijuana, because nobody's going to invest the money it takes to get these things on the ballot if one judge in Hughes County, which is Pierre, South Dakota, like deep red, it can just overrule it.
Well, it stinks of corruption because she appointed the judge. It's a conflict of interest because she got them to file the lawsuit on her behalf, essentially. And then she appointed the judge that overturned it. It's a clear conflict of interest. Got them.
Let's see. Trying to get Daryl back. Here. Yeah, he's still listening to the video. I'm just gonna message him on Facebook.
In the private chat. But yeah, so then the judge ruled that recreational marijuana violated the Constitution. So we had that happen this week. Then we also had another thing happen where the Attorney General had come out and said that they would not appeal that judge's decision because technically it's the Attorney General's job to defend that lawsuit because the voters passed it. And he did a terrible job defending it. South Dakotans for Better Marijuana Laws have their own lawyers defending it. So it's one of those things where it's like his office says that they will not appeal this decision, and it's kind of mixed emotions on it because I didn't really want him defending it to begin with because
yeah, they botched that. The Attorney General office at one point sided with the plaintiffs in saying that they couldn't have filed a lawsuit before the election because the Supreme Court generally doesn't take these cases. And it's like, whose side are you on? Like, obviously you're not on our side, so I don't even get why you're even up there. They're up there because, like, South Dakota law says that the Attorney General has to defend her stuff, but
and we will just remind you that the Attorney General should have resigned 5 months ago.
Yeah, Attorney General ran somebody over with his car, and that happened like 5-6 months ago. The family wants justice. No charges yet. They're still deciding whether or not to bring charges against this guy. And this is the dude that was defending that we had to use for a defense attorney. It's like, come on, this can't be any more corrupt. Here, let me get the article with this. Yeah, Attorney General's office will not appeal South Dakota legal marijuana decision. He's basically saying that he did his part defending it in the Hughes County, and now he's not going to appeal it. Fortunately, Brendan Johnson, who led the South Dakotans for Better Marijuana Laws, they're the ones who launched this petition to legalize weed fully. I lost my train of thought. I was talking to Daryl for a second.
Basically, there's a lot of BS with the marijuana laws that the voters approved. And I knew this going in. We had Ned Horsted from New Approach on a few weeks back, and I was trying to ask him a question. It was kind of rambling, so he didn't really understand what I meant. But I was trying to ask, like, what could we expect to possibly happen during the legislative session? Because I knew, it's one of those things where the voters approve it overwhelmingly, but all the legislators pretty much oppose it.
Yeah, there's some in the legislature. They know they're tried to before this Amendment A was overturned. They were trying to pass something along the lines of exonerating anybody with a marijuana conviction. I think that was doing favorably in the committee, the judicial committee that it's been brought up in. I mean, I don't have a lot of hope for it passing the legislature, let alone overcoming Kristi Noem's veto. What she said, Kristi Noem has said that if the legislator tries to pass any legalization of marijuana on their own, because their constituents voted for it. Every legislative district just about was over 50% in favor of it. So they know that their constituents want legal weed. So like, there's a lot of talk about like how they're like, I don't agree with it personally, but my constituents do, and I'm here to represent them. So I have a duty to pass legislation that my constituents want. But Kristi Noem's going all off like, no, I'm going to veto anything that comes through regarding legalization of weed. So that's probably going to be in the back of their heads, and like, what's even the point then? Because you have to have like 2/3 to overcome Kristi Noem. And I don't think there's definitely not 2/3 if there's even 51% in the legislature that will go forward with this. Jeremy Harkness says over 50% for recreational, 70% for medical. If these results caught Noem off guard, it speaks volumes to her disconnect with voters. Yeah, she doesn't even care about voters. She cares about the lobbyists that fund her campaigns, and they're anti-weed. And I don't know if it was true, but I've read some stuff where she's gotten a lot of money from anti-weed lobbyists. So,
yeah, Kristi Noem is no friend of cannabis, and she even vetoed a hemp bill in 2018. There's been a national news has picked this story up quite a bit. Reason magazine, their website, they're a libertarian kind of national media organization. They wrote a story about it the other day. Spike Cohen, the vice presidential candidate in 2020, he even had a tweet and a Facebook post about it the other day. That Kristi Noem gets a lot of praise. She says a lot. She kind of reminds me of Ronald Reagan, where you can go back and you can find all these great quotes from Ronald Reagan, these great libertarian type quotes. Mm-hmm. And Kristi Noem's kind of the same way. She gets up there, she'll make a speech, she'll talk about individual liberty and then this and that. But you can literally see what happens when she opposes that freedom or that liberty.
Yeah, well, it looks like we got Daryl back. Daryl is the treasurer of the Libertarian Party of South Dakota, also a former Senate candidate in 2020 for District 4. How you doing, Daryl? I'm glad to hear you got the audio stuff fixed up.
Can you hear me this time?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, finally, I had to back out of everything, reboot, and do what was necessary. Sorry about that, guys. Unfortunately, I missed the last 5 minutes, so I'm not sure where you're at.
We're just rambling about the marijuana stuff. There's a bunch of different topics regarding.
Yeah, there was a lot of news in the last week. Feel free to comment on any one of them.
Consider the fact that next year she's running for re-election again. And if we suddenly have this marvelous plan in place next July 1st, she can say she now has this wonderful plan together. It was worth delaying. Vote for me because now you have access to medical.
Yeah, that seems like the scheme that's going on. See, this is a lot of people. There's a new article that came out on KLN where they said like the legislative, what was it? There's some like legislative research council or whatever that told the Amendment A people to not push for a constitutional amendment, to do a ballot initiative instead. And a lot of people are like misconstruing that as that they were informed that this was going to be challenged in court on the grounds of the single subject and the revision issues, which I think are completely nonsense. But as we've seen, the reason why they pushed for the constitutional amendment is because you can't tamper with a constitutional amendment. It would require them to petition themselves to put it up for a public vote against marijuana. But like we've seen with the medical petition, which was just a ballot initiative, now that was supposed to go into effect July 1st of this year. But since that's just an initiative, the legislator can tamper with it, which is what they're trying to do now in delaying it for a whole year. And what we've seen in like other states, this has happened, like West Virginia starts off, we're going to delay it for 1 year. West Virginia legalized medical marijuana 4 years ago. So they've been delaying it a year at a time for 4 years now. So that's what we can expect to see if this happens in South Dakota. This is the plan I'm thinking that the Republicans are using.
Yeah. Delay a tactic so they can rewrite the bill, essentially.
Mm-hmm. It could be, and they probably just haven't figured out how to get their hands on all the money from this yet. You know, if this was really a free country, whether it's medical or recreational, we just allow people to grow a couple of their own plants, and as long as it's for personal use, you know, and we're not, you know, distributing it out like we do underage drinking, you know, alcohol for that. Why can't it go under the same rules and regulations? You know, just let people have their own plants and let it go at that, you know.
Yeah. My whole argument here regarding their decision to overrule it, well, they're saying that Amendment A violated Amendment Z, which passed in like 2018, I believe, which states that constitutional amendments that go up for a public vote, they need to be a single subject. But what the amendment says is that only affects proposed amendments. So what happened, and the Constitution also says in South Dakota that once a vote happens, once the public votes on something, a constitutional amendment, that becomes an enacted amendment, like after the vote.
Right.
So they're filing a lawsuit before we voted, violated the Constitution. Also, well, the ruling did anyways, because this was no longer a proposed amendment after November 3rd. This was an enacted amendment. And the only way to overcome an enacted amendment is for the Republicans to petition. They can get 50,000 signatures of people that don't like weed on their own, and we can put it up for another vote in 2022. So I'm hoping the Supreme Court sees it that way too, because, you know, I'm just reading the Constitution myself, and like that's what it says. So I mean, on that basis alone, I don't personally agree that Amendment A was even more than one subject. It was all just dealing with recreational cannabis.
Right. You know, I don't see how it's a multi-subject. It's not like we're trying to throw in $15 hour minimum wages in with this, like Biden is with his COVID. I mean, you know, come on, it's a single subject. It's all related to marijuana. It's not a multi-subject. I mean, get real.
We've got a caller in. Kevin, you're on the Hedgehog Watchdog. How are you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Pretty good. Are you from South Dakota?
I'm from Missouri.
Oh, yeah. What's the legal status for marijuana in Missouri?
The legal status for marijuana in Missouri, I think it is still legal here. I mean,
nice.
I mean, I see a lot of people here doing like stuff like that around here, but I mean, it is illegal for sure.
Are you a libertarian?
What's a Well, I don't know what that is. Can you explain that? What it is?
Well, we're for small government. We're for pro guns. We don't like taxes.
I'm for free speech. I mean,
we're definitely pro free speech. We're against the wars, and we're against spending all this money and racking up $29 trillion in debt. There's a bunch of things I could be talking for hours on it. So. Do you have any comments today on the situation with South Dakota and Amendment A being overruled by our governor and her appointed judge, I should say, actually?
Well, I haven't heard anything because, you know, I've been focused on this whole weather situation that's going on, but I haven't really heard anything on that.
Yeah.
How cold is it down there?
It's pretty cold. It's like 6 degrees down here.
Geez, 6 degrees. That's paradise.
That's a heat wave.
13 negative.
It's supposed to get negative something today or something like that.
Yeah, it's like negative 11, I think, right now here.
Yeah, it's snowing out here.
Insane. All right, well, thanks for your call, buddy.
Yeah, thanks
right,
for coming on,
thank you.
Kevin.
Need more South Dakota callers.
Yeah, I don't know. How does he not know?
Yeah, I just looked it up. It looks like Missouri has medical marijuana. I didn't check anything for recreational.
Yeah.
That's the problem, though, like Missouri, how you say they have medical. Here's my problem with the state wanting to, like, delay medical, and then, they're going to rewrite the rules. So that's what they want to do, is they want to fiddle with all the regulations and the rules. Mm-hmm. It's not so much, that's a delay stall tactic. But anyway, my problem with it is, there's some states that are around us that technically have medical marijuana, like Iowa, Minnesota. And I mean, I'm not an expert, and somebody can tune in and tell me I'm a little bit wrong on these, but like Iowa is one of the most restrictive, like, medical programs. It's all oil. There is no plant substance. And a few years ago, it might have changed now, but a few years ago, there was no place to even buy the oil. They essentially had made it legal, but there was no place to even buy it. So you still had to commit a crime to get it. And then it was really restrictive as far as, like, who qualified to even be able to get it. And Minnesota was kind of similar. Like I said, they might be a little, in the last year or two, they might have started relaxing those regulations just a little bit. But Minnesota was the same way. It was, like, really restrictive. You could only get oil, basically. So that's what I worry about by them rewriting it. Right now, the medical, and I haven't read the bill in a while, but right now the medical program would actually allow for home grow, like you were talking about. The guy could have a couple plants in his basement,
Right,
type of deal. And I guarantee you that when the legislature gets done rewriting that bill, there's not going to be anything in there about home grow.
Well, no, there won't be, because they won't get any money that way. I mean, there's no money to be had. It's not going to be made legal. That's what it boils down to, which is a shame, But the thing that irks me most of all, whether you're for medical, whether you're against it, irrelevant of that, is no one goes around, okay, we're a free state. We're not going to lock down. We're not going to do this. We're going to, defy, the logic of, the imposed logic of the other states. But when it comes to something she doesn't like, all of a sudden, we're no longer free anymore. It's my way or the highway, and libertarians aren't that. We want to get, as long as we're not harming anybody, let people go.
Yeah, but we got to protect those South Dakota values.
Well,
that's what she says, though, that the type of crap, it's like, we got to protect South Dakota values and think of the children. And I mean, she was opposed to hemp in 2018 and basically said that by legalizing hemp, we're legalizing. That's how dumb, I mean.
Yeah, it's two totally different things. I mean, and I apologize for the glow in the background, but I don't have any blinds.
No, you're fine.
Well, no.
Didn't hang my curtain up. But
it's not two different. It's not two different things. See, it's a single subject, Daryl. So. It kind of goes to her logic. It's like you kind of argued against this yourself, Christy, because you tried to say that by legalizing hemp, you effectively legalized, weed, and so, well, then it is a single subject, Christy. That's
Yeah, candy bars led to my ice cream addiction. I mean, come on.
Adam Jewell says, "Happy Valentine's Day, sexy boys." Thanks, Adam.
$20 to our Patreon, and you'll get private pictures sent to you.
Yeah, sign up for OnlyFans there, Adam.
Hey, you gotta go bald, Adam.
Hedgehog Watchdog OnlyFans.com.
yeah,
no,
I'm
we're not
glad-
doing a. No, we're not doing a calendar.
Man, I wonder how many people are even going to go out for Valentine's Day. Man, it is cold.
Yeah, it's cold. I dread waking up tomorrow when it's about -30 to go to work.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have
Honestly,
a new car.
I don't
I don't think I
remember
need to
that.
worry about breaking down.
I don't remember the last time it's been that cold, like without the wind chill, without like
It's been a while.
That's crazy.
That's just
Yeah,
hope the
it's supposed
windows
to be
don't pick
like
up.
-25 without wind chill tonight, I think.
Yeah, that's cold.
So like
I guess
Missouri's all like, it's 6 degrees, or it's like, man, I wish it was 6 degrees.
yeah, right. Hot. What
And
are you gonna
there's
do?
a big difference between 0 and -30. My furnace is
Right.
letting me know.
Yeah. Last chance to get on a plane and head out for the weekend.
I just think if it was misting or something or foggy, planes would have a hard time taking off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's got to be cold enough. A couple years ago, they were talking about that polar vortex, and there were all them videos where people would take a can of boiling water and they would step outside and they would throw it in the air and it would literally freeze.
I've done that. It actually works.
So yeah, tonight we will be able to do that.
Yeah, we will. I don't know. Traveling by air, I just don't have a whole lot of confidence when they have to de-ice the planes first.
Yeah.
It's like, are you sure you got it all before we take off?
My wife, can't remember, she shared a story with me earlier, and it was pictures of people that had taken a wet pair of jeans and they put them outside, and so the jeans are like standing straight up,
Yeah, I may have to do that next. I've never tried that.
Yeah, it was to save their parking spaces. So they put these jeans in their parking spot.
I keep my beer fridge out in the garage. Usually that does okay, but I mean, even the beer's freezing up.
Yeah.
Had to bring the refrigerator inside so the beer could thaw out. It's cold then.
Sorry, I had to go deal with the cats. So what did I miss?
We're just talking about cold weather and flying in de-ice planes and bringing the beer fridge in from the garage because it's too cold. The beer's freezing.
A frozen egg in lead.
Yeah, Jonesy 1, 2, whatever.
Post the link. We'll post the link. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
What
Did you
the
see the
world?
frozen egg leg was pretty cool?
Missed that one.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. What's weird in South Dakota is it's going to be -25 tonight, and I think -16 the next day. But then after that, it's supposed to be like 30 degrees for like a week.
It's crazy.
Oh, thank God. That 30 degrees is
That'll
going to
be good,
seem
though.
so nice.
I know, right?
Break out the shorts.
Yeah, shorts. I'm gonna grill. I tell you that much.
I got to shovel what little snow we have away from my grill container before I can break the grill out. I should call it my grill shed.
I tell you what, I've tried grilling a few times this winter, and it's been tough because I always kind of forget to account for the fact that what works during the summer, as far as your wood, your heat, your stuff like that, it doesn't work during the winter because it's cold, and so it's going to take a lot more to heat. You know what I mean? To keep it that temperature.
Yeah, for me, the annoying part is you got to bundle up to go outside. You come back in, then you're too hot, so you got to unbundle. Then you got to bundle up again to go check it again.
Yeah.
Might as well just be trying on clothes for 30 straight minutes.
Oh, lead South Dakota. He's laughing at us.
Lead
Not
South Dakota,
lead.
down
Not
the
lead.
road from Deadwood.
Oh, Jonesy. I bet is that Aaron Jones, I wonder? But that's funny.
Yeah, it's a good time for them to piss off the voters of the state because we're too cold to go to Pierre and stand outside and protest at the moment. But it will warm up soon, so we'll be there. We're coming.
Yeah, we got to go out there and do some protesting about this whole
Hey, I did
marijuana
see.
ordeal.
I ran across a new page today that I had never seen before. It was called, I can't remember, some new marijuana South Dakota page. Like I said, I had never seen it before, but they had posted that they want to. It's a little late, to be honest. So I'm hoping somebody else is doing something before then. But they wanted to do a march on 420 or 421. I can't remember the exact date.
Yeah, I know South Dakotans for better marijuana laws.
What's up, Jones?
The people who ran the petition and the ones that are defending against Kristi Noem stooges to keep it passed. What was I going with this? I forgot.
Well, there is a Larry and Pierre. All we need is a Mo and a Curly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But South Dakotans for better marijuana laws said that they're also going to have a protest event in Pierre. Date to be announced, though, so they haven't picked a date yet.
They needed an honest. Well, I mean, theirs is Amendment A, so it's kind of a different. But I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday that HB 1100 or whatever. The delaying of the medical. I think that's being heard on Wednesday. That would be a good day to protest.
Yeah.
I know whatever day they pick, like I'm gonna go this, to that because that's the issue. Yeah, that's the issue I care about. I think it's important. Basically, the people of South Dakota petitioned their government and said, "I don't want to be a criminal. I don't want to be treated as a criminal. I want to be treated as an adult. I want to be able to go buy a product that I want to use."
Right.
And we had to ask you permission to do it. And then you slap us in the face and you sue us and you take that away from us. It's like,
sue us with our own money, even.
Yeah, I don't like this at all. And then, the hypocrisy of it as you run around the country and proclaim that you're this champion of freedom. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. I'm riled up. I know a lot of people are riled up about it.
And it's only going to get worse because you got that idiot de Blasio in New York City, with his sugar and soft drink tax. You can't buy a soft drink bigger than 32 ounces or something, but you can buy 2 of them. What that comes down to is, a 64 ounce always sells less than 2 32 ounces, so they get extra tax money. Come on, there's always a hidden agenda in this. These people aren't going to give up soda. He's just looking to make more money off of it.
Yeah, that's the problem with that's the problem with New York, is they lose 100,000 residents a year, something like that. And most of the residents that they lose are, middle class, upper wealthy, and it's because they have a state income tax that's, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's not cheap.
People are leaving New York. They're leaving California. Did you see where California is going to have one less representative the next time around? So they actually lost one. Thank goodness. They need to be a little smaller. They control the U.S. And as long as they stick to Oregon and Washington, fine. Just don't let those liberal tax spending people move here. It's, I don't want them.
Yeah, I think that's the whole reason why Kristi Noem's against it, is because she's afraid that we'll get a bunch of hippies here or something. And it's like, I don't think that's what's going to happen, because I think they're comfortable in Portland, and I think they're comfortable in Washington and Colorado. There's no reason for them to move here in South Dakota.
Most other states are way ahead of us. It's already legal. They're not going to move here. I'm not going to start doing marijuana just because it becomes legal. I have no desire to do it. I don't need it, don't want to. I've got other things to spend money on. But if I'm ever in a situation with my health where it would benefit me, I want access to it. Every medical option should be available.
Yeah. Well, and how many youth over the years have left the state because, like I was saying about how you're treating people like criminals. And so, it's again, when you want to delay the medical thing, it's like, okay, I guess it's no big deal to you that people are still going to be criminals for another year. But so if you're a young person, and let's say you're 21 or whatever, you're young and you smoke pot, and it's just something you like to do, right? Why would you live here? You know what I mean? It's like, why would I live here
Right.
and be treated like a criminal and possibly go to jail or be charged with a felony because brownies and like vape pens and weird things like that in South Dakota are still treated as a felony. So if it's something that you enjoy and something that you like to do, well, then why wouldn't you move? I mean, I personally know a bunch of people that I went to high school, and I'm not young anymore, but I know a bunch of people that I went to high school with and stuff that moved to Colorado years ago. And you get these politicians that like will literally say, "Well, if you like smoking pot, we'll move to Colorado." Well, they do.
Okay,
They do.
we will.
Yeah, they
Screw
do.
you.
And then you, on the other hand, will sit there and say, "Well, we need to spend all this money trying to keep the youth here." You know what I mean? And it's like, well,
Right.
quit driving
Yeah.
them away.
Yeah, you could make money and keep them here at the same time if you just let the voters have their will be done as we voted on this stuff.
I can understand. I mean, most teenagers are a little bit rebellious. You know, if you're under 18, you're under 21, something is illegal. Yeah, you're going to do it, you know, just to be a little bit rebellious. I know when I turned 21 and I could legally drink in Pennsylvania, I quit going across the border to Maryland where it was only 18 at the time. And once I turned 21, half the thrill of drinking was gone because, oh, now I can actually do it. You know, I think, you know, somebody who wants to drink, somebody who wants to smoke pot or do any other kind of drugs, if they want to do it, they're going to do it whether it's legal or not. And if they don't want to do it, they're not going to. In the long run, a law isn't going to make a difference.
Jeremy Harkness says, how much of this delay is Noam opposed to marijuana versus preparing to include a ton of red tape and a big pharma? Yeah, that's basically what they're trying to do. Because, you know, the legislator can tamper with any ballot initiative as much as they want to. We saw them do that with the Ethics Commission in 2016.
Well, I thought it was odd this year. Another another voter initiative that was on the ballot this year was the sports betting deal. And that passed with like, I can't remember, like 60% of the vote or whatever it was. But I just saw like last week or something that like the Senate had approved sports betting, and I was like, well, what do you mean? Like the voters
no.
did that.
They I was watching it because I'm a boring person, so I watched the Senate things on public broadcasting. But they voted to tax sports betting. And get this, the vote wasn't even like close. It was like 30 people and like 2 against, 30 for and 2 against. And like our legislators, 85% Republican. So essentially, Republicans again voted for a tax increase in South Dakota.
Well, you knew they were going to tax it. You can't do anything in this state without them getting their money on it.
Yeah, they're in full agreement on taxing it too. There was no debate or anything. Well, maybe there was a little bit of debate, but only 2 people voted against it.
You know how much debate there was? It's like, let's think about this. Okay, long enough.
Yeah. Essentially, that's how it went down. So I was like, wow. And then you don't really see I didn't see any like news stories on it. So I was like, man, maybe Hedgehog Watchdog should just watch these Senate videos on public broadcasting and we can report all the stuff that, you know, because I want to know about when the taxes are getting enacted and stuff on sports betting. I guess the mainstream news in South Dakota just assumed that was going to happen. So
what always bothered me with the whole gambling issue, I mean, I have one rep who's against video lottery and everything else, you know, but okay, so we're against gambling. People have addictions. We shouldn't have gambling, you know, because we don't want people to be addicted. Yet we have a state lottery, you know, and state lotteries keep like 51% of the money where casinos only keep like 2%. You know, what's more of an addiction? I mean, those are the simple numbers of casinos. You know, they give back 98% because it keeps you coming in. They know in the long run they're going to get your money. You know,
Yeah. And then we see commercials all the time for the South Dakota State Lottery, so they're advertising for it because they're getting a cut. I'm sure we'll see some advertising in the sports betting too. Like, bet on some sports because since we're getting a big cut of this now.
Yeah, that's
again, it comes down to money. They get a bigger cut at the lottery.
Yeah, that was always my brother's biggest talking point. Was he was always like, "Why is there a budget for marketing for the lottery?"
Yeah,
like we don't need it. Honestly, there should be $0 spent on marketing the lottery because
who doesn't know there's a lottery?
If we legalize fucking marijuana next year, are they gonna have a budget for promoting that? Are we gonna? It's an honest question. Why are you promoting lottery? Why would you? If we legalize weed, are you going to have commercials on the promoting marijuana?
Come to South Dakota, our weed's a lot safer than that in Colorado.
Green corn, that's what the Amish call it. I don't have any problem with the lottery, but yeah, they don't need to advertise that. There's no reason that you are going to advertise, Oh, look how fun it is. And then at the end, play responsibly.
You guys see my post all the time. I'm against government being in any industry. Why do you promote any industry, whether it's gambling, lottery, tourism? Let the people that run the industry advertise for their own well-being. The state shouldn't be advertising for it. My industry doesn't get advertised, and I doubt whether either of your jobs get advertised for by the state. It's just playing favorites.
Well, the state does a terrible job at marketing anything. I mean, think about it. What was it? Meth were on it.
Gotta be the worst.
Turkey drive. They've got terrible marketing.
They spent over $1 million on that meth we're on it campaign. It's like,
and it went to Minnesota, which is even worse. They didn't even pay a South Dakota idiot that came up with it. They paid a Minnesota idiot to come up with it, and then they accepted it.
Yeah, they shouldn't be spending any money to promote any special interest or anything. They a few years ago under the previous governor Dugard, he had some program to recruit out of state. Because South Dakota's always got a lot of jobs. Even right now, there's a lot of jobs. There's jobs that there just aren't enough people to fill them or whatever. And so anyway, they always come up with these schemes to promote people to move here to take jobs. And so they had this one a few years back, and they had spent. And the article came out after it was all said and done. And they said they had spent over $1 million promoting, people moving here to take these jobs. They had worked with Manpower. I don't know. Manpower is it was a partnership with Manpower. But anyway, Manpower is like a recruiting company.
Right.
Sorry. But anyway, they had spent $1 million on this program over the course of a year, and at the end of it, they had recruited 6 people. People.
I've only been here a little less than 7 years now, but the way I see it, get back to the weather. How many people are you going to get to move here when it's minus 30 for a couple of days every year? I mean, I try to convince my kids, hey, this would be a great place to move. It's like, I ain't moving where it's minus 30 degrees. They're not they're not crazy enough. They're not as crazy as I am.
What's it usually do? Are they in Pennsylvania then?
They're in Pennsylvania. If it gets to a minus temperature.
Oh no, we lost Daryl. Or is that just me that lost him? You lose him too?
No, I lost him too. Yeah, I was wondering what the temperature was there in Pennsylvania because I know
I think it's 24 now.
24 degrees, yeah. You cut out there. What does it usually get to in the winter?
The winter before I moved here, it got down to minus 3, and that was the first time it was negative in 20 years.
That don't sound too bad. I mean, I always hear horror stories of I know it's quite a bit north, but horror stories of Buffalo, New York, where they get these snowstorms off of the Great Lakes where it's 30 inches of snow.
Yeah,
I
I think
that was
there's
just
like
a few years ago. I think they had
Yeah.
one that was like 6 feet.
Yeah.
at
Yeah, I know
once.
North Dakota had like a really big snow blizzard event where I think it was in the 70s or something. Like houses were covered with snow, and like the drift was like above the house and everything. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
my nephew's out in the Colorado mountains this weekend. His wife texted me earlier that it was minus 36 at one point, and they were snowmobiling in minus 31. I like to snowmobile, but I'm not going out when it's that cold.
No.
Yeah.
I live about a half an hour from the biggest town. Like if I want to go to a Walmart or a Hy-Vee or something like that, I got to drive about 30 minutes. And so I went to town yesterday, and it's like, not to make too light of the situation, like it is so cold that like you don't want to get stuck. You don't want to get stuck outside.
No.
Your car don't want to get stranded somewhere, and you should probably keep your tank full because
Yeah.
if you did get stuck somewhere, like it is freaking cold.
Well, yeah, like I say, it's minus 23 this morning or whatever it was when I woke up, and normally on the weekends I go down to Hendricks, Minnesota to see my girlfriend, or she comes here. Well, I didn't want to leave the house because if for some reason there's a power outage, I want to be home so I can throw the backup heat on, so the house doesn't freeze over and I have busted pipes or something. And I said, it'd probably be a good idea if you stayed home too, because she has an older car and I don't want her breaking down in the middle of nowhere when it's minus 22 out. It's,
Yeah.
just don't go unless you have to. It's common sense.
Bring on the sunny days.
They'll be here before you know it.
So, like, what do we think here? You think that medical is going to get delayed a year? Is that pretty unanimous?
Knowing who's in charge, yeah, I think it's going to be delayed a year. They don't care. I don't see
Well,
it.
one of the things that irritates me is, they say, oh, it's a lot to go through and we just need more time. It's like, well, then maybe you should focus this legislative session on getting that shit done instead of wasting it on all your nonsense,
Well, the proposal was out there. If they had been smart, they would have, been considering the possibility that it was going to pass.
Yeah, they have summer
came
studies.
up with all sorts of rules and regulations for it so that when it did pass, they'd be able to just kick it right in and say, okay, we're ready. Again, it comes to thinking ahead, not 20 years after the fact.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Greg actually got us a little store. I guess we'll give that a little shout out.
Oh.
You want a little
Teespring. Go to teespring.com/Hedgehog Watchdog. We got a couple shirts up. Hedgehog shirts, some shirts making fun of the Attorney General and the Governor.
Yeah.
Oh boy, don't even get me started on the AG.
And then for those that like seasoning, you should check out campriger.net.
Yeah, you got a new one out.
I didn't come on here for a plug, but I'll take it.
Just hand them out like they're like fun coupons. Yeah, check out Camp Ridge's seasoning. They got a discount right now.
Up to 4 of them now.
Yep. So good stuff. Greg and I are big fans.
So what's your new one? It's like kind of just a chili seasoning? Or?
It's a chili seasoning, but I think it would go pretty good with anything that would be considered Mexican, or maybe even Indian. It's got chili powder in, of course. It's got some chipotle, which is kind of a Mexican thing. There's some cumin in it. That's more of an Indian thing. It's, India country, not native Indian. I think it would go good with either one of those types of dishes. I put it in some breading and did some chicken fingers with it the other day, and that was pretty good too. So, all depends on your personal taste.
Hell yeah. Got anything else, Greg, before we wrap up the show?
No, I'm just very disappointed in our government this week.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
As
me
usual.
too.
But no. Enjoy
well,
your Valentine's Day, everybody.
yeah, Let's go. One more shout out for our convention here in March. It'll be March 20th in Sioux Falls. So make sure you come and hang out with fellow libertarians. We're going to have XCOM elections, so it should be a good time. A lot of speeches, I'm assuming. I already know a lot of people want to give speeches, so it's going to be an eventful
Should be fun.
convention. Yeah, I'm hoping Sioux Falls makes it like the biggest convention we've ever had.
Yeah.
And then if you like the broadcast, subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we're also part of the Free Speech Media Network, which is on Trovo. You can check them out and a lot of other great liberty-oriented podcasts at trovo.live/free speech media. And we'll see you next week at our normal time, 7 p.m. Central. Thanks for joining in.